Video request from Mark Del Rio. Hi Kyle, how are you? Good, thanks. Next video request. I'm not sure if you know this, but did you know that Paul Walker passed away today at about 3:30 p.m. American time, West Coast? If so, what are your thoughts on that? And also, what did you think about his acting? He got into an accident with his friend Roger Rodas, and he is known for playing Brian O'Connor in the Fast and Furious film series. The driver lost control and crashed into a light pole and a tree in Valencia, Santa Clara, California, and then the vehicle burst into flames. If you have seen those before, then which Fast and Furious film did you like the best so far? Thank you and have a nice day. Cool. So yeah, I heard about it. I go on to Yahoo News, Yahoo page a lot, because that's where I get to go to my email and stuff, and Paul Walker dead. I was like, what? Yeah, it's trippy when you see a A-lister die. He's A-lister, the main actor of a $2 billion franchise, put out 4 movies last year. So, if so, what are your thoughts on that? What are my thoughts on his death? They were driving around in a super fast Porsche, which is a mid-engine sports car, which I heard from a car racer that mid-engine sports cars are really easy to spin out. Overall, they handle a little bit better than front-engine sports cars. So, if you're a purist race car driver, you're going to want to drive a mid-engine because they're more similar to those, the Formula 1 cars. Those are mid-engine. But they're not as safe. They spin out easier. So they probably went, I guess the corner they went around is really popular for people who like to drift around it. So they probably drifted around it. And then the guy overcorrected because they said they found a figure S in the pavement. So he overcorrected and went into a tree at probably like 100 miles an hour, which probably knocked him out cold or killed him on the spot there. Because if you drive sports cars don't weigh that much. They're like, what, 2,000 pounds or something? And a tree can stop a race car in its tracks. Trees are incredibly strong. They're wet wood with all those roots in the ground. You get stopped dead at 100 miles an hour, you're dead probably. You're dead. Even if you have the airbag's probably not even fast enough to catch you. And then it burst in flames and they were charred beyond recognition. So, yeah, that's too bad. It's a bummer that he died because he's my age, 73. That's the year I was born. And, really good looking, nice guy, involved in all the charities. So this kind of person, the last person you think would die. But, if you're involved in sports cars like that, people should be kind of half expecting you to, you'd be one of the first people to be dying because it's dangerous. What do I think of his acting? I know that people like to make fun of his acting, say he's like a wooden actor, but I think he's a good actor. I thought he was really good as Brian O'Connor. I'm a big fan of the Fast and Furious series. I love number 5 was really good. That's probably my favorite actually when they were in Brazil. They jump off the car as it goes off the cliff, and I love that over-the-top acting. But number 6 is also one of my favorites. Definitely going to watch number 7. I don't like him enough to watch him in a theater, but I'll definitely get it in Redbox. I rented his last movie, Vehicle 19, last night. It's preparation for the video, but I only got a minute into it, and then I stopped because I was too into these Scientology interviews from people who dropped out of that. I'd like to maybe watch it before I have to return it at 9. Yeah, in the beginning, they show him, the very first scene, he's in a minivan, trying to get away from the bad guys, and he looks up, he's like, it's probably how he looked right before he died. But yeah, he was good, he has a voice, Mr. Cool Guy, he's the ultimate Mr. Cool dude, and got the cool guy looks and everything, so hopefully people learn from it and drive more carefully, and maybe they should buy a good old American sports cars like a Corvette and not these mid-engine Porsches that spin you around and around. let's see. But, it's probably just a freak accident. These guys, they probably drive right on the edge anyway. That's kind of how, like me as a mountain biker, riding through the trees, right on the edge. I could hit a rock in the middle of the thing or get a flat, veer off, hit a tree, and dead. You never know when you're going to die. So, whatever. Happens to the best of us. Yeah, so if you have seen those before, which Fast and Furious do I like best? Yeah, number 3 was weird. That was bizarre. Number 3, where they didn't have anybody in it and it had nothing to do with the normal franchise. That was the second biggest veer from a franchise I'd ever seen in my life. They had that Cornhusker kid who goes to Japan, and it was the most ridiculous movie I've seen in my entire life too, because what all the high school kids do on the weekends for fun is they drive down the mountain road where they're all fishtailing, and they're all fishtailing like 6 feet apart from each other, like it's a freaking car race, like they're a go-kart race on the edge of cliffs. And that's what all the high school kids do. I mean, talk about bad influence on kids, man. Four-wheel drifting. But I guess at the very end they tied it together because they had Vin Diesel like say hi. And I guess in the final number 7 they're gonna have that kid take part in it, and the thing takes part in Tokyo, and so whatever. The first most biggest veer from the franchise was Goal. Remember Goal with Santiago Munoz, the Mexican soccer star? Number 1 was good, number 2 was okay. Number 3, the only difference was they had that one actor. He was the only actor, and it had nothing to do with him. He was just the side actor, and the main story was about his friend and his girlfriend, and his friend dies of like a brain embolism from getting kicked in the head in a game. Most ridiculous fucking thing. Anyway, okay. So thank you and have a nice day.